Welcome back, everybody. Now, let's not talk about history in schools right now. We must have got our lines a little bit crossed there. That's not the focus of our interview this morning. What we're focusing in on is another issue, which I think is also going to get you thinking. Pupils in South African schools will be able to choose Mandarin as an additional language from January 2016. With China becoming one of the biggest markets in the world that we trade with here in South Africa, South Africa has taken a good step in introducing the world's most spoken language into its schools. To chat more about to us about this, we are going to be talking now to Mugwena Maluleka, who is the Secretary General of SADTU. It's good to have you. Thank you very, very much for joining us here on the program.
Thank you, Leon, for having us, and good morning to your viewers.
All right, before we even jump into a conversation about that, what are the plans? What is the plan within schools? Is this a go-ahead? It's going to happen from January 2016. Mandarin is going to be introduced into the school syllabus.
Look, Leon, as an organization, we are totally against this priority, given that the National Development Plan, in terms of priorities, is talking about how to improve the quality of education from the basic education level. We're talking about early childhood education that has not been well funded. Our teachers are not being well trained and so forth. Now, to concentrate on another language, we view this as one of the imperialist approaches on ensuring that we lose our identity. UNESCO has just declared that mother tongue education is one of the most important things that we have got to be considering. Research after research has asserted that learners who are being taught in their mother tongue will then be able to develop cognitively, but also develop critical thinking skills as well as scientific skills. Now, in our country, our priorities are otherwise, that we have to introduce foreign languages, whereas we have not even invested in our mother tongue education in our country. It is sad, I must say, that we are beginning to lose our identity again, when in actual fact during apartheid there was subjudication, there was a suppression of our identity, our languages and our culture, and that cannot be accepted.
Yeah. I mean, when we look at South African languages, and many saying that they're a dying language, all of our languages, because so many of the youth are opting rather to speak English. In your opinion, I know you voiced it as well, the fact that should be more of a primary concern. They're now introducing Mandarin when we should be proud of our languages, and they are beautiful languages that we have here in the country.
As a country, we are going to learn very soon that the anger that we are beginning to see, the violent protests that we are beginning to see, is as a result of us not having dealt with our own issues in terms of really prioritizing our languages as part of issues of who are we and why are we in this particular situation. And without really entering into history, it is that we are supposed to begin to understand that without us having to identify ourselves as South Africans, and begin to understand and appreciate one another, one of the critical issues is that we are going to lose that particular identity, and we are going to suppress the anger that we are seeing rather than to be dealing with the anger that we are seeing by really appreciating history, appreciating our culture, and understanding that language is a vehicle by which we impart the cultures. Now, if you begin to say you are going to prioritize business or trade, and therefore you also trade the soul and our identity, I don't think that is the way to go, because in any business exchange, there must be mutual benefit. But in this case, the Chinese culture is going to be taught to us, because you are not going to be able to learn Mandarin unless you also understand their culture. And how are they successful? It's because they did not prioritize English. They prioritized their language and their culture and their context, and that's why they're successful. So we need to be learning that we have to do that. Many countries like Thailand, Cambodia and Philippines are beginning to show the way. I mean, in one of those particular countries, 181 languages are being taught, and they don't have orthographies, but they're beginning to develop those particular orthographies because they believe it is important to have an identity.
Yeah. In a nutshell, I've read comments from you. You believe that by introducing Mandarin into our schools is the beginning of colonization once again.
Yes, that is colonization once again, because it is informed by the business that we get from China rather than mutual benefit. It is that because China is investing a lot of money in our country, therefore we've got to learn what China is doing, and then we have got to be led by China. We are a sovereign country, and therefore we should not allow ourselves to be regarding ourselves as inferior to any other nation. We've got to build our nationhood, and so that we do not allow that. We see it as imperialism playing its role again.
All right, let's leave it there for this morning. Thank you for your opinions. Mugwena Maluleka, I beg your pardon, the General Secretary of SADTU, speaking to us about the introduction of Mandarin into our schooling system, the compulsory introduction of Mandarin. I'll have you here. Maluleka, again, one of the questions he asked was, is China also going to introduce South African languages, for example, isiXhosa, into their schooling system? I doubt it. I'm not too sure that's going to happen. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you. Let's take a break. We'll see you after.